The message across the stars, the first sign came without warning. Across the galaxy, screens flickered. From the neon streets of the Yara homeworld to the frozen outposts on the rim, every comm unit, every starship console, every public broadcast. Wall froze at the same time. The hum of daily life stopped. Pilots stared at dead controls. Merchants froze mid-trade. Even children stopped playing, watching the sudden static in wide-eyed silence. Then the static cleared. On every screen, in every language, a single human face appeared. The man's skin was pale under harsh light, his eyes steady, voice deep and slow. Earth belongs to humans alone. Do not come here. This is your first and only warning. No logo, no flag, no explanation. The image cut out instantly. All systems returned to normal. Ships resumed their course. Merchants continued trading. Engines rumbled again, but the silence in every heart remained. On the capital world of the Galactic Council, panic spread like wildfire. The circular chamber filled with the noise of 100 different species shouting over one another. "This is a provocation," screeched the high-pitched voice of Counselor Trevick from the insectoid Tsar. "They have no right to claim an entire system," hissed the scaled diplomat of the Vreth Alliance. "This is impossible," rumbled the hulking Dern ambassador, his voice like grinding stone. "Humans have been silent for a century. They were weak. But not everyone. Greed. Some spoke softly, fear in their voices. They remembered the last time humans fought a war, and how quickly it ended. In the back of the chamber, Admiral Theron, representative of the Council fleet, was silent. He studied the data that had accompanied the broadcast. It hadn't been sent through normal channels. Somehow, the human message had injected itself into every transmission network in the galaxy at once. No one knew how. That alone was terrifying. He closed the file and requested a private session. Within hours, a quiet plan was approved. Send a small scout toward Sol, the human home system. No aggression, just observation. The scout ship, Varys Dawn, was fast, cloaked, and crewed by elite specialists. They approached the Sol border cautiously, scanning for defense satellites or patrols. For hours, they detected nothing. No ships, no stations. Only the quiet light of distant stars. Then, without warning, their systems shut down. The crew scrambled. The pilots slammed controls that didn't respond. Lights dimmed to red. Oxygen flow dropped to emergency levels. In the main viewport, a shape emerged, black against black, visible only because it blocked the starlight. It wasn't large. It wasn't flashing weapons. It simply drifted closer, silent, until it filled the entire view. The captain of the Varys. Dawn tried to hail it. No response. Then a new voice came through every headset. Calm, human, and impossibly close. "You've crossed the line. Turn back." The crew obeyed without argument. When they jumped away, the mysterious ship did not follow, but the fear stayed with them long after. When the report reached the council, reactions split. Some called it an empty show, a scare tactic to protect a dying world. Others demanded proof. Proof came too soon. A week later, an independent miner ignored the warning. His vessel, heavy with ore, slipped toward the asteroid belt beyond Mars. Never returned. His ship drifted back across the border days later, engines cold, life support still active. But empty. No crew. No signs of struggle. No explanation. The council labeled it technical failure. But among traders and smugglers, the whispers began. The humans are watching. The humans don't miss. If you cross the line, you don't. Come back. Meanwhile, deep beneath the surface of Earth, in the vast war room of the Human Defense Command, Commander Elias Rail reviewed the council's reaction. The room was dim, lit only by the blue glow of tactical maps showing the Sol system. "They've sent scouts," his adjutant reported. "One turned back. Another will not return." Rael nodded slowly. "Good. Fear is more useful than blood." He tapped the map, zooming in on the asteroid belt. Then the moon. Hidden icons appeared. Massive orbital platforms disguised as mining stations. Stealth fleets anchored in shadowed craters, and weapon arrays that had never been shown to the galaxy. They didn't want war. But if war came, they were ready. That night, far across the galaxy, a young alien dockworker named Vec sat in a bar, telling anyone who would listen about the day the message appeared. It wasn't just a warning, he insisted, his voice low. It felt like they were looking right at me, like they knew my name. Others laughed. But in every port, on every world, the memory of that face and that voice lingered like a shadow. The galaxy had seen many claims of power, but never like this. And somewhere in the darkness, unseen by all, human ships moved in silence, waiting for the next intruder to cross the line. The message had been sent. The game had begun. The first intruder, the galaxy, had heard the warning. Most stayed away. But there's always one who thinks the rules do not apply. His name was Corvin. Draff, a Drakari smuggler with scales like dark iron and a smile full of gold teeth. In the smoky corners of backwater spaceports, he told anyone who'd listen that the humans were bluffing. They hide in their little system. He sneered over a glass of burning blue liquor. Old ships, old weapons. I'll fly right past. Their border, fill my holds with Earth's rare metals, and sell them for 10 times the price. The other smugglers laughed nervously. None of them would dare. But Corvin lived for the stories. 2 days later, his freighter, the Black Fang, crossed the invisible border of Sol. No alarms. No warnings. Only the silent expanse of space. Corvin smirked at the empty radar screen. See? All talk. Not a single patrol in sight. His co-pilot, a thin avian named Rel, shifted in his seat. Feels too quiet. Quiet means profit, Corvin said, pushing the engines toward Mars orbit. An hour passed. Nothing. Then the lights dimmed. The Black Fang systems flickered like dying candles. The engines stuttered. The comms went dead. What is this? Corvin barked. Rel's feathers trembled. Something's draining power. The ship slowed to a crawl. On the radar, a shape appeared. At first, Corvin thought it was a sensor glitch, a shadow that didn't belong. But it grew, blocking the stars, until it filled the screen. It was a ship. Black as space itself. No lights, no markings. Try hailing them, Corvin ordered. Rel tapped the console. No. Response. Then, without a sound, the strange vessel aligned itself directly with the Black Fang. A red light appeared on its hull. One single, unblinking eye. The voice came through the dead comms, low and human. You have entered human space. You have 10 seconds to turn around. Corvin's mouth twisted into a grin. Tell them we're just passing through. No harm. The voice cut in again, sharper. 8 seconds. Rel's talons shook on the controls. Corvin, let's go. 5 seconds. Corvin's grin faded. Something in that voice, calm, certain, almost bored, told him they would not hesitate. He turned the ship. The systems flared back to life the moment they crossed the border. The strange black ship didn't follow. It simply hung there, watching, until the Black Fang vanished into the dark. Hours later, in a hidden command station beneath Earth's surface, Commander Elias Rael received the report. Another intruder? He asked without looking up. Yes, sir, smuggler ship. No weapons fired. They turned back. Rael allowed himself a faint smile. Good. That's the point. We don't need battles. We need memory. But not everyone learned so easily. The following week, a second intruder came, a scavenger crew from the Keltari Syndicate. Unlike Corvin, they didn't turn back. They pushed deeper into the system, toward the asteroid belt. This time, the black ships didn't speak. A human vessel, larger than any they had ever seen, emerged from the shadow of Ceres. Its hull bristled with strange weapon knots. Silent and cold, the scavenger captain tried to run. His engines flared bright, then died instantly. The human ship drew alongside. A bright flash of light engulfed the scavenger craft. When the light faded, it was gone. Not destroyed. Gone. The incident never made the Council's public records. But whispers spread in the underworld. Humans had weapons that didn't just kill. They erased. On the Galactic Council homeworld, tension grew. Many dismissed the reports as exaggeration. But the few who had seen human ships up close spoke. With a quiet dread, they all said the same thing. The humans didn't chase you. They didn't shout. They didn't waste words. It gave you one chance to leave Dot, and if you didn't, you vanished far beyond the Council's reach. Deep inside the moon's hollowed craters, human fleets waited in silence. Their captains, trained for a war no one would see coming. The galaxy still thought humans were hiding. The truth was far worse. They were watching, and they were ready. The Council's gamble, the Galactic Council, could no longer ignore the reports. 2 ships lost. Multiple sightings of strange black vessels. And that message still echoing in every system. Earth belongs to humans alone. Some Council members demanded war. Others urged caution. But in the end, they agreed on what they called a measured response. They would send a diplomatic fleet. Not a war armada, but big enough to show strength. Admiral Thevos, a tall, silver-skinned member of the Yarith species, was chosen to lead the mission. He believed the humans were bluffing. War is expensive, he told the Council. If we show our presence in their system, they will have to talk. They cannot fight the galaxy alone. The fleet they sent was diplomatic in name only. 10 massive capital ships, 30 escorts, and a swarm of support craft. Every hull shone under the cold light of distant stars. The journey to Sol took 3 days. During that time, the fleet's crews told each other the rumors. Humans can erase ships without debris. They hide fleets under their planet's oceans. Their weapons bend space itself. Admiral Thevos dismissed it all as scare stories. As they approached the Sol. Border, nothing happened. No ships, no warnings, no transmissions. Then the comms crackled to life. This is Human Defense Command. State your purpose. A voice was calm. Too calm. This is Admiral Thevos of the Galactic Council, the Admiral replied, his voice firm. We come to open talks regarding your recent claims. There was a pause. Then the human voice returned. Proceed to these coordinates. Alone. All other ships will hold position. Thevos frowned. We do not split our fleet. Then you do not enter. The channel went dead. The Admiral decided to push forward with the whole fleet. They cannot stop us all, he told his crew. At first, it seemed he was right. The fleet passed the border without resistance. The stars ahead shone peacefully. The darkness shifted. One by one, enormous shapes emerged from the void. Human ships, far larger than any in the Council fleet. They were completely black, their hulls swallowing the starlight, their designs sharp and predatory. They didn't fire. They didn't even move aggressively. They just appeared, boxing the Council fleet in from every side. Inside the flagship, the bridge crew froze. Dozens of human warships surrounded them, each one locking targeting systems in perfect silence. Thevos opened a channel. We come in peace, he said quickly. On the main screen, a human figure appeared. His uniform was black, his face unreadable. "You were told to come alone. You ignored that. This is your only warning. Turn back now." Thevos tried to stand his ground. "The Council does not respond to ultimatums. We demand the human." Cut him off with a gesture. A new feed appeared on the screen, a montage of destroyed alien ships drifting silently in space. Ships Thevos recognized. Ships that had been declared missing in Council records. Every one of these ignored. "Our warning. You will not be the next." Thevos swallowed hard. Around him, his officers exchanged uneasy looks. The human warships didn't just look dangerous. They radiated a quiet certainty, the kind that came from knowing they could end you instantly. The Council fleet retreated. No shots fired, no damage taken. But the message was clear. They had been outmatched before the fight even began. When they returned to Council space, official reports called the mission a productive first contact. But the truth spread in whispers. Humans didn't need to shout. They didn't need to fire. They only needed to be seen. Beneath the lunar surface, Commander Elias Rail received the surveillance feed of the encounter. He watched in silence then. "Every time they come, we'll make sure they leave with the same thought." What thought? Rail's eyes stayed on the holographic image of the retreating Council fleet. That Earth is not just defended. It's untouchable. The hidden arsenal the Galactic Council could not openly admit it, but the diplomatic mission had been a failure. They had gone to Earth's doorstep with 30 ships, and had left without answers. Only fear. But fear never stopped everyone. Some wanted proof. Some wanted weakness. Some wanted revenge. In the back halls of the Council chambers, away from public view, a quiet meeting was held between military leaders and intelligence chiefs. "If humans truly have fleets of that size," hissed Counselor Trevik of the Insectoid Tsar, "we must know where they are built, how they are hidden." "They can't be everywhere," added the scaled Vreth ambassador. "A large fleet needs large shipyards. We find them. We destroy them." The plan was decided. Send a stealth recon vessel, cloaked and unmarked, to slip deep into the Sol. System. The Whisper Fang was chosen. A sleek, needle-shaped ship covered in light-bending panels, its engines tuned to run near silent. Its crew of 6 were veterans of infiltration runs. For days, they drifted at the edges of the system, mapping energy signatures, watching patrol routes. At first, they found nothing unusual, just mining stations on asteroids, fuel depots near gas giants, and the usual debris of a busy star system. Then they saw the moon. It looked lifeless, as it always had: gray dust, deep craters, the same as in every public archive. But one crater was wrong. Sensors picked up faint heat spikes, far too regular to be natural. Energy pulses came and went in exact cycles. The readings matched starship reactors. The Whisper Fang glided closer. Through the ship's scope, the crew saw it, a vast structure buried in the crater, disguised beneath layers of rock and dust. Massive armored doors lay open, just enough for them to glimpse what was inside. The pilot's claws tightened on the controls. By the void. Inside the crater were ships, not small patrol craft, but massive warships, each one black and sharp-edged like a blade, their hulls swallowing the light. Dock crews in armored suits moved along the platforms, tending to weapons that glowed faintly in the dark. The crew recognized none of the designs. These weren't Council-approved models. They were something else, something built for war without rules. The captain of the Whisper Fang activated the cloaked recorder. "Council command will want every image we can." The rest of his sentence never finished. Alarms screamed. One by one, the ship's systems shut down, not jammed, not hacked, erased. The view outside the scope shifted. Every ship in the crater had turned toward them. They had been spotted. From the shadows behind a ridge, a human interceptor rose silently into space. It didn't ignite its engines. It didn't fire weapons. But the Whisper Fang's sensors lit up with red warnings. Target lock from every human ship in range. A voice came through their dead combs, calm and steady. You have seen enough. Leave now. The captain tried to reply, but the controls refused to respond. His crew stared at him, their faces pale. You have 10 seconds to comply. The captain didn't wait. Get us out of here. The engines roared back to life only after they turned toward the border. They left without another word, without another scan. When the images reached the council, the chamber fell silent. Number. One could deny it now. The humans had weapons forbidden under galactic law, graviton lances capable of folding ships in on themselves, quantum disruptors that could erase a target from the timeline, and more, hidden in places they couldn't even begin to guess. They've been building this for decades. One intelligence officer whispered. For centuries, corrected another. On the moon, Commander Elias Rail stood before the open crater dock, watching a massive black warship rise slowly toward the stars. Beside him, an engineer said, "They'll talk about what they saw." Rail smiled faintly. Good. Fear is part of the defense system. The ship disappeared into the black. Somewhere beyond the border, the Whisper Fang fled home, carrying the truth and the knowledge that if the humans ever left their system in force, there would be nowhere in the galaxy to hide. The border incident, the warning had been given. The council had seen the hidden fleet. Most stayed far away from Sol Dot, but greed. Greed always made someone think they could get away with it. It began with a mining fleet from the Draxan Trade Syndicate, 6 massive ore haulers, and a dozen escort craft. Officially, they were charting new asteroid fields near the border of human space. Unofficially, they planned to accidentally cross that border and strip mine a rich asteroid cluster that scanners had identified inside Sol territory. The Draxan leader, Captain Rovik, was a veteran miner with a scarred face and a reputation for ignoring laws that didn't profit him. They're just playing at being dangerous, he told his crew. Humans can't patrol every rock in their system. We grab what we can. We're gone before they notice. His crew nodded, though some glanced nervously at the black line marking human space on the nav map. The fleet crossed the line at 3:17 local time. No alarms, no patrols. Just empty space and the glitter of the asteroid field ahead. See? Rorvik grinned. Told you. All talk. The haulers moved in, deploying mining drones. The first chunks of valuable ore were being cut away when the sensors began to scream. Multiple contacts. Every direction, they appeared like ghosts. Human warships, black-holed and silent, emerging. From behind asteroids, from shadows, even from empty space itself. Within minutes, the Draxan fleet was surrounded. The lead human ship moved forward, its size dwarfing even the largest ore hauler. Its hull bore no markings, no numbers. Just matte black armor and weapon mounts that seemed to drink in the light. A voice came over every channel at once, deep and calm. You have entered human space. This is your first and final order. Leave. Captain Rorvik tried to sound confident. We are conducting lawful mining under neutral trade agreement, the voice interrupted. Your ships are 4.2 million kilometers inside restricted territory. Leave now, or you will not leave at all. The silence after was worse than shouting. One of Rorvik's escorts tried to edge away, engines flaring. Instantly, every human ship's weapons locked on it. The targeting beams were invisible, but the Draxan sensors lit up with warning alarms. The escort froze in place. Rorvik swallowed. All ships prepare to withdraw. But before they could move, the human flagship opened a channel again. You are not cleared to take what you have stolen. Jettison all mine cargo. Now, The Draxans hesitated. Ore was worth more than most ships. 5 seconds. Without another word, Rorvik ordered the cargo holds vented. Massive chunks of raw ore tumbled into space. Only then did the human ships begin to open a path for them. The Draxan fleet left. In silence, their profits gone. But before the border was fully behind them, the humans spoke one last time. If you return, there will be no warning. The channel went dead. News of the incident never made. The Council's official reports, but the story spread in the trade lanes like wildfire. Miners whispered about human ships that could appear anywhere. Captains talked about the way the human commander's voice carried no anger, no threats, only the absolute certainty that he could end them in seconds. Far inside the Sol system, deep within a command bunker under the Pacific Ocean, Commander Elias Rail read the incident log. His aide smirked. They left quickly, Rail nodded. They'll tell others. Fewer will try. The aide hesitated. And the ore? Rail allowed himself a thin smile. Already on its way to Luna Shipyard. Consider it a toll. Above the moon, a massive black warship drifted in silent orbit. Beneath its armor, weapon systems slept for now. But every ship that passed the border was marked, tracked, and remembered. The silent war wasn't just about defending Earth. It was about teaching the galaxy a lesson it would never forget. The Boldest stand the Galactic Council had been humiliated too many times. First, their scouts vanished. Then, their fleet was surrounded without a shot fired. Now, their miners had been forced to abandon valuable ore under human orders. It was becoming a joke in the outer sectors. The Tsar insectoids hissed in anger. During council meetings, the Draxan Syndicate demanded military retaliation. Even the cautious Vreth Alliance began to talk about testing human strength. Finally, the council voted. It would not be war, at least not officially. They would send a battle group into Sol territory to investigate human defenses. If the humans responded with force, the council could claim they were defending themselves. Admiral Varric, a veteran from the Rithan Empire, was chosen to lead. He was tall, sharp-faced, and utterly confident. The humans cannot possibly match the combined strength of the council, he told his officers. We will break their wall and see what. They are hiding. The battle group was enormous, over 2,000 ships, including carriers, heavy destroyers, and stealth cruisers. The fleet stretched across light minutes of space, a wall of metal and firepower. When they arrived at the Sol border, there was no sign of humans. Advance, Varric ordered. The fleet moved in, engines blazing. For 10 minutes, space was empty. Then, one by one, faint energy readings appeared on sensors. More and more. Within seconds, the human fleet revealed itself. They didn't arrive from one direction. They emerged from everywhere. Black warships slid out from behind asteroids. Massive carriers rose from hidden docks in planetary rings. Strange folding gates flared to life, spitting out destroyers from locations no council map had ever recorded. By the time the humans stopped appearing, they outnumbered the council ships. And they hadn't fired a single shot. On the flagship's bridge, Admiral Varric felt his throat tighten. A transmission came through. Audio only. The voice was male, calm, and cold. Council fleet, you have entered human space with hostile intent. This is your one and only chance to leave. Varric tried to sound confident. We have no hostile intent. We are here to. The voice cut him off. Intent is measured by action. You crossed the line with weapons ready. We measure that as war. Varric's crew glanced nervously at their consoles. Every human ship had locked weapons on them. Their targeting systems showed a pattern the Admiral recognized, a coordinated strike that would hit every vital system in their fleet at once. Varric hesitated. If he ordered an attack, It could mean the largest space battle in centuries. But looking at the precision of the human formation, he knew the truth. The Council fleet wouldn't last minutes. He opened a private channel to his senior captains. "We withdraw. Now." There was no argument. As the Council fleet turned, the human ships didn't follow. They simply shifted position, closing the border again like a steel curtain. The voice spoke one last time. "You have one jump left. Make it away from here." The transmission ended. Back in Council space, the political spin began immediately. Official reports claimed the mission was a strategic survey. But every captain who had been there knew the truth. Humans hadn't just matched their numbers. They had been waiting for them. And they had been ready to end it in seconds. Deep in the Pacific Command bunker, Commander Elias Rail reviewed the engagement feed. His second-in-command asked, "Why let them leave? We could have destroyed them." Rail shook his head. "If we kill them, they become martyrs. If we humiliate them, they become a warning." He zoomed in on the final image. The Council fleet retreating, their formation broken. "Fear spreads faster than war," Rail said quietly. "And fear keeps Earth safe." The final word, the Council fleet's retreat, was the talk of every spaceport, trade lane, and military channel in the galaxy. Official broadcasts called it a peaceful disengagement. Unofficial whispers told the real story. The Council had been outnumbered, surrounded, and spared only because the humans allowed it. Some didn't believe it. Others believed it too much. On the lawless rim, smugglers who once laughed at Earth's warning now rerouted their paths far from Sol. Merchant convoys changed maps to avoid even passing close. Mining syndicates quietly erased Sol from their prospecting charts. The galaxy was adjusting. Not because of treaties, not because of diplomacy, but because of fear. Yet there were still those in the Council who wanted to test the humans again. Councillor Trevik of the Tsar hissed in private meetings, "We cannot allow one world to dictate terms to the galaxy." But when he suggested sending another fleet, the room fell silent. No one volunteered their ships. No one wanted to be the next to disappear. Months passed. The Sol system grew quieter. No intrusions. No incursions. And then, one day, without warning, another message appeared across the galaxy. Just like the first one. Every screen, every comm, every broadcast froze. The same human face appeared, calm, unreadable. This time, there was no translation. Only one language. Old and simple. "We warned you once. Remember it well. Earth is ours. Always." The message ended. No threats. No boasts. Just certainty. On the Council's capital world, silence filled the great chamber. For the first time in years, no one spoke over each other. Everyone understood the meaning. The humans were not just defending their home. They were declaring something far greater. Earth was untouchable. Deep beneath the surface of the moon. In the command center of human defense, Commander Elias Rail watched the broadcast logs. His aide stepped up beside him. "Do you think they got the message?" Rail's eyes stayed on the screens. They got it the first time. Now they'll never forget. Far from the Council's reach, in a hidden shipyard orbiting Neptune, engineers continued their work in silence. Colossal black warships took shape in the shadows, each one more advanced than the last. The silent war wasn't over. It would never be over. Because for the humans, it wasn't about fighting battles. It was about making sure no battle ever reached Earth again. In a dimly lit spaceport bar on the outer rim, an old freighter captain told the story to a group of young pilots. "I saw them," he whispered. "Black ships, bigger than mountains, moving without sound. They didn't threaten. They didn't fire. But I knew. If they wanted, I'd be gone in a second." One of the young pilots laughed nervously. "So it's all just fear?" The old captain shook his head. "No, it's not fear. It's respect. And respect is stronger than any weapon. Somewhere in the deep black between the stars, a single human patrol ship drifted silently, its sensors watching, its weapons cold but ready. A young recruit asked the commander, "Do you think they'll try again?" The commander smiled faintly. "They might, but they'll remember what happens when they do." The patrol ship vanished into the dark, leaving nothing behind but the quiet certainty that in this galaxy there were many worlds. But Earth belonged to humans alone.